Words in connected speech. The structure and the form of word may be different in its very individual, very separate, technically called citation form, right? Citation form of a word is important because in citation form, the word is articulated, it is produced by the speaker in its complete form, right? Complete form is when a word is articulated, when it is produced without any reduction, no segment is reduced, right? And then at least one syllable is emphasized, that is stressed, right? And it's in a complete sense, okay? So that is the citation form. But when the same word is taking place within a sentence, and we are to analyze a sentence as the form of connected speech, then the shape and the form of that word is different, right? How it is different? Like, what is the difference between citation and rapid form or connected speech form of a word, right? So the difference is, it is as exactly as what happens to segments. Segments are when they are in a complete, form, when the sounds are produced separately one by one. Although in one conversation, in our conversation, it does not take place anytime because we are to produce segments and sounds in a string, right? In a very collected form, in a connected, formation, right? Same is the case with words. Very rarely we produce words in this isolation form because most of the time we produce words in connected formation and as the part of connected speech, right? So within segments, what we see is that there are various form of allophonic variation possible, right? And the same hierarchy, if you use this analogy of segments with words, then the words also go through various processes and they change their shapes and they are reduced in connected speech. Words are, reduced. Some words are reduced very little, right? And there are types of words which are reduced quite, widely. And there is a difference between the content words and function words, right? Content words, they are, produced in such a way that the reduction is not really emphasized. But in the case of function words, the function words are very commonly reduced by the speakers, okay? The grammatically function words, they are mostly influenced by the connected speech, right? And they are very rarely stressed. The stress is most of the time, I'm using the word most of the time, on content words. Content words are like nouns, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs. The point is that the speaker wants to convey meanings most of the time on the basis of content words. And those function words are just playing their role of grammatical function. And those are most of the time taken into account by the speaker and also by the listener. And when this is analyzed, then we have a chart like this, you see. And there are words which are given with their weak forms. So a word has strong and weak forms. And there are the function words written here like this article A, when it is in citation form, strong form, citation. And citation form is basically the form when a word is produced individually in isolation. So when it is produced in isolation, then it is A, the complete form. But in connected speech, it becomes shua, right? Like a cup, right? So a cup. So A is changing into A, which is the weak form, and this weak form is basically the connected speech. It is taking place in connected speech. Then this conjunction and, the complete form is and, but in connected speech it could be and, and na. At times only just by na attaching to some other word and making this a syllabic na, right? You and me. So we are not actually producing a complete and in this form. We are just producing an. So you and me. Same is the case with as in this form, but it can become as good as, right? Then at, right? Preposition at, then it could become with schwa, right? At home, at home, can, and can. I can go, right? So that's the reduced form. Then has in its citation form. But has, us, the, and also so at times. He's left. He has left. So we are not actually focusing on the complete form of word. And that's the intelligence of human beings, right? He, it, he, right? Will he go? Will he go? Then must, right? Must. Modal verb here, must. But it could be must or only must. I must go. I must sell, right? Then she, pronoun she, again a function word, she. Did she go? Then that, right? That. Okay? To, in citation form it is to, but in connected speech it could be to or t. To or t, right? To Mexico. Then would, another helping verb or a modal verb, would, but it can become would, or only do. I would go or I'd go. You might have heard this, I'd go. So these are the weak forms, and these weak forms are basically the forms of words which are produced in connected speech. And through this discussion, we have come to know that words have different form in citation formation when they are taking place separately, individually, and they have different forms in sentence or in connected speech.